Normally, we show a brain pop, okay? And it kind of goes over what scientific notation is for. Unfortunately, we have no brain pop to show because we don't have any internet. Isn't that lovely? Okay, so we are going to do it, and I'm just going to try and explain. Let's see, Austin is not here. Who is Austin? Not on my roll anymore. Period 2, Austin. Not on my roll anymore, so we don't need to worry. First, oh, I'm looking at the wrong. One of these days I'll get it together. Now you're going to hear all this on the thing. Okay, so nobody. All right, Caleb. That's it. Because they're going to come around for this. Lala, yeah. Can you put this outside my door? There's a clip. 30, 20. Thank you. All right, here we go. So scientific notation is used for really, really big numbers and really, really small numbers. Wonderful. I just broke my glasses. Okay. That's sad, huh? Really? That's how I'm going to be wearing glasses now, okay? Till I can get another pair. I don't even know where the other part is.
Right there.
Where?
You're running over it.
Lovely. Oh, all right. Okay. So, do you see that number I wrote on the board? Look at all those zeros. Can you imagine doing computation with that number? Okay? It would be real difficult. It'd be really easy to make mistakes. Okay? And so that's why we have something called scientific notation. How we write numerals or numbers naturally are known as like normal or standard form. All right? Fortunately, our calculator will help us out. And this is used in many things. Like, think about it if you were creating medicine to treat cancer. And you know, they use a lot of really toxic chemicals when they're treating cancer. And that's why people get so sick and they lose their hair and all those kinds of things happen. What if you were trying to do a computation with that number up there and you left off a couple of the zeros by accident? You would probably kill whoever it was. You know, so it's used for really, really small things. Also, Geo, please, whatever's going on over here, and I know it's not just you, okay? You guys need to stop. And so, like, scientists use it, astronomers use it, people in the medical field use it. So a lot of people use it. So, but luckily for us, our calculator will do it. Our calculator will calculate scientific notation to the power of -4. Now, it'll calculate scientific notation positively to a power of any number, but it will only calculate to a power of -4. And what essentially you do is you have to have a whole number and then a decimal in standard notation, and then it moves it by a power of 10, either to the left if it's a negative power of 10, or to the right if it is a positive power of 10. So, we're going to look at these. So, in other words, for something to look like scientific notation, it needs to have one number, one whole number before the decimal. So it has to have at least only one whole number before the decimal. Okay? And then you can have 17 numbers out here. But if it had this, it would not be. So if you're looking here, this is a number that is in standard notation. All right? So in standard notation form, we're going to write A. All right? Here it says 5.62 times 10 to the power of 5. We're going to write, it is in, I'm sorry, so bad. A is not in standard notation, and B is. It's always going to be to the power of 10. All right? 26.17 times 10 to the second power. 28.17, is it in standard notation? No, because it has 2 digits to the left of the decimal. So it is not in standard notation, so it goes in the not box. D, 8.2 times 10 to the negative 3. Is that in standard notation? It has 1 digit to the left of the decimal. It's okay that that's negative, because that just means when I write this in standard form, I'm going to move this decimal 1, 2, 3 times to the left, and I would write it as 0082. That is normal mode. That is scientific mode. Okay? So yes, it is in scientific mode. E, it doesn't have a power of 10, and it has 2 digits to the left, so it is not in scientific form. F, it looks good to me. What do you think? Yes, no, maybe so? Uh-huh. Maybe, maybe not. What do you think? It looks good to you? It looks good to me too. If I wrote that in regular notation, all I'm doing, because this is a positive exponent without a calculator, I just need to move this exponent 8 times. So I could do this. If I wrote 3.901, I would move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I would fill in my zeros, and I would have this number. And that is written, that number written in standard notation. Okay? So yes, it is. Is G? No, because it doesn't have a whole number to the left of the decimal. It needs 1 whole number, and it doesn't have a power of 10. So it is not in scientific notation. What about H? No. The whole number needs to be between 1 and 9. So it is not. Okay? So then let's write some definition down here, and I want to be specific when I'm doing that. So I don't want to throw you guys a curveball. So what I'm going to do is get my handy dandy notebook. All right, justification for numbers in scientific notation. Must have only 1 number left of decimal and, number must be between 1 and 9, or 1 and 9 are inclusive. Okay? So in other words, it can't be a 0. I guess that's an easier way to say that, right? Cannot be 0. Okay? And I'll always put a line in my Z's just so you know. It's just an algebra thing. The other thing, it must have power of 10. Now that power of 10 can be 0. Okay, that power of 10, if it can be 0. All right, it could be 1, it could be -1, it can be anything, but it must be 0. It must have a power of 10. So let's now play with our calculators. Everybody done writing that? No? If I go too fast, you need to say, hey, hold on a minute. Slow down, whatever it takes, okay? Don't just assume that you don't have an opportunity to get it down, okay? Everybody works at a different pace. That's okay. Some are listening and looking and don't do listening, looking, and writing at the same time, okay? And it just doesn't work for you that way. All right? That's okay. All right? Everybody done now? Okay. Almost? All right. Let's flip the page, and we're going to go from standard form to scientific. The first thing you need to do is turn your calculator on. And I'm going to clear mine because it hasn't been cleared in a long time. All right? Yours probably hasn't cleared either because first period we were running behind. All right. So I'm going to hit this key that says mode. Do you see it? Right here next to the second key. I'm just going to hit mode. Right now, do you see how it's flashing on normal? Okay, you're going to arrow over to scientific. Make sense to you? Okay? Now, in order for this to change, is everybody with me? In order for this to stick and to keep that change to scientific, all right, I have to hit enter. Now, do you see how it's highlighted on sci? Okay. Now I'm going to hit second and quit to get off that screen, which is second in mode. Everybody okay? Everybody got it? Do I need to do it again? Speak up or forever hold your peace. All right. So now if I just type in 7635 and hit enter, I get that number. Now, what you have to remember to recognize is that E represents times 10, and you have to write times 10, not E. If you write E, your answer is wrong, okay? So all I have to do is write 7.635 times 10 to the power of 3. Come on. Stay focused. All right? Easy enough? All right, so we're going to put the next number in. Everybody ready? All you do is 538.09, and you hit enter. So this time you get 5.3809 times 10 to the power of 2. Put the next one in. Why don't you put the next two in and see if you get the same answers as me? Now you notice it'll give you an answer larger than -4, but it only will computate to the power of -4 in scientific notation. With these calculators, it is hard to tell that you are in scientific notation. With some calculators, it'll actually say psi up here in the corner, okay, with some of the TI-84s. But this one doesn't. So if you go to do 25 times 5, okay, and you put it in and you get something like this, you know that your calculator is in scientific mode. All right? Now, to go from scientific to standard, all you have to do is go back and hit mode. Now it's flashing. The cursor is flashing on normal, so hit enter. And hit second and quit. If you hit clear, it will clear out that you were on normal. All right? It doesn't do it for you. You got to hit second and quit to get off the screen. Okay? So now I'm going to put this in. Now remember I said when you're squaring anything, use the x squared button. All right? So now we have powers of different values. All right? So here we go. 8.3, you're going to put in the multiplication sign, times 10. Now, there's a button, and it looks like a Chinese hat. Okay, so I call it the Chinese hat, and I'm going to get right up on top of it. It's the power up button. Okay, so I call it Chinese hat. All right, so I'm not racist. It just looks like one of those hats that they wear in the rice field. Okay, so you're going to hit the power up button. You will hit 4. But do you see how right now, when you're in that power up button, do you see how it's flashing and you're still in what I call exponent land? All right. This works okay if you're just done, but if you had another like times 3, because sometimes you do, if you weren't arrowing out, so I want you, whenever you put an exponent in this way, I want you to use the arrow out button and get out of what I call exponent land and then hit enter. You will always get a correct answer. Okay? So there's your answer. 83 with 3 zeros. Now, anybody notice kind of a pattern there? If I have an exponent of 4, I ended up with how many zeros? 3. Isn't that interesting? Because I moved the decimal 4 times. So now we've got 7.89143 times 10. Power up button, 3, arrow out, and hit enter. There's your answer. So much easier. 7.891.43. Okay. Here we go. I'll let you do now 4.35, when you'll do this one together, times 10. Now remember, power up. Now you have to use the negative key, not the subtract key. You got to use the negative key, which is down there in parentheses next to the decimal point. So you use that, then you put your 3. Now you need to get out of exponent land, and you get 0.00435. Everybody got it? Anybody get stuck? Nope? Good. Okay? 2.6 times 10 to the negative 5th. You guys can do it and see if you get the same thing as me. Uh-oh. What happened? Now, didn't I just tell you this calculator will not compute beyond negative 4? I've never seen any test question ever that had beyond negative 4. Okay? But that's why I kind of show you just in case. If that happens, you've got to move the decimal point how many times? 5. And you have to, now it's a negative, so always think, your negative numbers are always left of 0, right? So you're going to have to move it 5 times to the left. But I've never seen a test question, and we won't give you one that has negative, but we're just kind of preparing you in case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means how many zeros am I going to add? The pattern. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 6, and I'm done. Okay? But I'm telling you, I've never seen a test question with one that has a power greater than negative 4. So let's try it in a word problem. And sometimes they put numbers in a word problem you really don't need. It said, I looked at it this way. First thing I look at is I say, it's asking me, I looked at my answers. They're all in what form? My answers are in what form? Standard. So if they are in standard, it means I need my calculator in scientific or standard. Scientific, because I'm entering a scientific, standard, because I want my answer to be standard. So if you're looking for your answer in standard, you need your calculator in standard. Is our calculators on standard form or scientific right now? Okay, so all I have to do, sometimes they give you all kinds of numbers, you really don't look for that number. You don't have to pay attention. I didn't even have to read the problem, did I? Okay? 1.4225 times 10 to the power of 2. Get out and hit enter and you'll have your answer. Okay? Easy enough? I'm going to look, if it is a scientific problem, I'm going to see this in the problem or I'm going to see that in the answers. If I need my answer in scientific mode, what do I need to do? Put it in scientific mode. So I'm going to hit mode. You don't hit the second key. I'm going to change the mode of my calculator that it's operating under. And I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to hit second quit. Now, you see how there's a bunch of numbers in here? And there's a bunch of words. I'm going to teach you all kinds of strategies with word problems. Because 8th grade, you don't ever have, it's not as complicated as it looks. Okay? Look at my answers. They all have 1, 4, 6, and 5 in them, don't they? So what is the one number out of all this mess that has 1, 4, 6, and 5 in it? That's the number you need. That's the only number you need. And I promise you it will be that way. All right? Okay? So here we go. 146.5. And what do we hit? Enter. Do you recognize which one is your answer? Remember, your E is your times 10. It's C. Okay? We don't care if he's an 18-month-old dog. We don't care that it was in this year. All it's asking for you is to change this to this. When you do a problem, always look at your answer choices. It gives you clues as to what do I need to do to get there. Does that make any sense? Okay? It's a strategy. All right? It just saves you so much time and so much reading. All right? They say you need reading for math.